Oh, what the heck? Keanu Reeves barely survived Hollywood. Hey, Moon dropped a new video. Let's check it out, bro.
Keanu Reeves is often seen as the nicest man in Hollywood, and it's not hard to see why. There's countless examples of his good deeds, from the simple things like stopping to have a chat with fans, all the way to massive secret donations to charities that have since been uncovered. Whether you're watching an interview with his fellow stars or you're talking to someone who met him in person, nobody's got anything bad to say about him, which is very rare for most people in Hollywood, striking a hard contrast against the world he's claimed to be a top.
Yeah, it's weird. I've never heard anything bad about him. Like, I really never heard anything about him at all. That's, like, really weird. Like, the only thing I've seen of him is, like, him shooting guns at gun ranges. That's it. Like, what?
In a sea of fake smiles and assault allegations, Keanu Reeves seems like one of the only normal people left in the industry.
It's a very, very calm energy.
He hit that Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise level of fame, and then just became
I was about to say, he's not like those dudes at all.
this super chill, mellow guy that can just like go through crowds. That guy sits on the subway by himself.
So how did he manage to do this? What did he go through to make him the person that he...
Well, I mean, if you're him, bro, you ain't got to worry about nobody unless they got a gun or a weapon. And even then, the amount of training this guy's had, like, he's not Tom Cruise that's like doing stunts. He's not doing stunts. He's fucking whooping people's asses 24/7. I guess Tom does the same shit, but like, come on now. Who do you think's gonna win in a fight, Tom or fucking Keanu? It's Keanu.
is today, and what can we learn from his journey?
Damn, him with short hair.
You see, a lot of
crazy.
celebrities and world-renowned people have had harsh upbringings. Keanu Reeves was no different. Born in Lebanon in 1964, his
No way.
early life was anything but stable.
My mother and father were like 21, 22.
Damn, I've never seen him do a podcast. What is this?
My mother, English, ran away from home, working, showgirl, but then
wow.
also picking up pins in couture houses, getting into fashion, where she would end up becoming a fashion designer.
His father had heavy substance abuse issues, which along with his abusive behavior to Keanu's mother, destroyed their marriage shortly after Keanu was born. When he was just 2 years old, his father abandoned his new family and the pair divorced.
It's crazy. The amount of people I know that have had like parents with substance abuse problems, it's crazy. It's like they either like just skyrocket and they just thrive in what industry they pursue, or they, repeat the habit. It's
So
crazy.
shortly afterwards,
There's like no middle ground.
Keanu moved with his mother to Australia, but that wouldn't last long either. From there, they bounced around the globe until they finally settled down in Toronto, Canada a few years later. While Keanu's youth would be much more stable, it wasn't easy by any means. His mother married when Keanu was 6 and had more children, with Keanu ending up as the oldest of 4. The absence of his father would have its own presence in his life,
Wait, it's pronounced Keanu? I thought it was Keanu this whole fucking time.
but it didn't stop Keanu from doing what he knew he loved. From the age of
Keanu.
just 9, Keanu was already attending acting classes and starring in his school's theatre productions. In interviews since then, he's described himself as a private kid.
Bro, I swear it's Keanu. It's Keanu, right? Comment down below what it is. It's Keanu. It's spelled Keanu, not Keanu. Maybe with the A. I don't know. Fuck.
Sociable and easy to talk to, but still private and introverted, and it's a quality he seems to have never lost. His involvement in acting lessons and sports were some of the only bright spots he had in an otherwise troubled education. He attended and got kicked out of 3 different schools in 5 years, and there were some
Hell
good
yeah.
reasons for it. First was his dyslexia, which made the work
Hell
much
yeah,
harder
baby.
than it needed.
Damn, I got a lot of similarities with this motherfucker. Shit.
Back then, these things weren't nearly as well understood, and it probably turned every lesson into a nightmare. Then there was the fact he simply didn't fit into the system. Teachers found him hard to control, as sitting still just wasn't for him. Instead,
Nope, motherfuckers, bro. I swear, bro. I swear that the fucking education system was not made for me. It was not made for me. I do not vibe with that shit, bro. I could have thrived in some other kind of style of education. The way they were doing it, education, more like let's skip vacation and go get some fucking Domino's down the street, or fucking, actually we were broke back then, so some Little Caesars. Let's go to Wendy's and get some food. Make sure that motherfucking principal on the roof don't see us though.
instead of putting in the effort to actually understand him, they just moved him on to the next school over and over again. Eventually though, Keanu ended up in an academy for performing arts, where he could finally thrive.
I always wanted to do acting, and then I remember, because I was always in sports, one of my friends, Braden, back in the day, people used to talk so much shit about him. They're like, oh, he's in acting, he's a fucking theater geek, you know, throwing the F slur around all the time. And I was like, oh shit, that shit ain't for me. Fuck that. I'm not trying to get ridiculed. Who knows
Already
what
we're
have
living
been.
in a world of constant distractions all around us. But can you imagine how dangerous this could be in situations like driving on the road and the collisions and accidents that result from this?
What?
Just recently, a truck driver in Tennessee working for a concrete mix company smashed into the car of a single mother of 4.
Ooh,
As the driver
shit.
attempted to turn left out of a subdivision, distracted, he crashed into her head-on,
This is
resulting
an ad?
in around
This is an ad, right?
$69,000 in medical expenses. And the pre-trial offer was only $70,000. So what do you even do in these sorts of situations? And costly appointments, making it difficult for victims to get the justice they can
Yep,
afford
get the
to
justice
reach
they deserve,
record-breaking
baby.
injuries to the jury. When you're seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. A couple of months for victims involved in life-altering $26 million in Philadelphia. 40 times. Best part, working your case could be worth below. So the only way he could fit into his busy schedule.
I was probably around 15. I was like, I think I asked my mother, is it okay if I'm an actor? And she was like, whatever you want, darling.
That's awesome.
So thanks for that, Ma.
With such a big family, there was always work to do at home as well. And there's no doubt that Keanu's early career was helped along by the man whose mother married, as he had a bunch of connections in the industry. There's tons of kids with similar advantages, but only a few are willing to put in the work to really utilize them. But
It's really interesting. I feel like a lot of kids, because people grow up watching movies and they love movies, and a lot of kids that are in sports and love movies, I feel like a lot of them would just want to be an actor, but like the sports thing, that stigma, that aura that people give off when you're like into like theater and stuff like that, it's weird. They have like a whole different vibe compared to like people that are in band. I don't know, maybe it's because theater class is usually a lot smaller and it's just a little bit more odd, you know, different. I don't know. I'm super analyzing this right now.
didn't start as an actor at first. Instead, he would begin as a production assistant when he was just 15 years old.
Wow.
And it didn't take long for Keanu to dive straight in, giving up on his education and dedicating himself fully to show business.
Oh,
and it
shit.
paid off, but only slowly at first. Keanu took a lot of teen roles, trying to make his breakthrough. There wasn't one standout role, but they all added up over time. It was essential that he
Honestly, I think it was for the best, because look how all these fucking teenage actor stars turn up. They always are fucked up somehow.
learned the ropes, and it wasn't long before he got properly noticed and made his way to Hollywood. But there was still a mountain of work between where he was then and stardom. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Keanu Reeves revealed that he wanted to change his name just a day after he landed in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm 20 years old and I'm gonna drive in my first car.
Yes.
And I'm gonna drive to Hollywood. And get there and my manager, my agent say, welcome.
Yeah, this is a great story.
Great to see you. And I'm all excited. They say, great to see you, but we want to change your name.
What the fuck? That is crazy.
Assuming that Keanu wasn't Western enough for audiences, they insisted he use his initials at first. It didn't last, of course, but the incident taught him a valuable lesson. Fitting yourself into someone else's plan rarely ever works out.
Yeah, just be yourself, bro. Be yourself.
You need to forge your own path instead.
Yep.
His path began with made-for-TV films and other minor roles. First, he started an obscure music video. Then he got some smaller parts in low-budget films. But his true breakthrough came when he incorporated his
Wait. I know this movie.
video. Then he got some smaller parts in low-budget film.
Oh, never mind.
But his true breakthrough
I thought it was
came when he
alright.
His own experiences into his art.
can't remember that
First, there
the
was
movie.
Youngblood, where he starred as a rookie
Never heard of
hockey
it.
player. It was one of the first roles to showcase his incredible physical acting abilities. Earlier in life, he had played hockey religiously, and was even aiming at going pro just before a poorly timed injury made him change career paths.
Oh, he's from Canada. That makes sense.
He gave his performances a level of authenticity that isn't often seen in young actors. Then there were his performances as troubled teens in films like River's Edge or Under the Influence. Both of the characters he
shit.
played had similar backgrounds to his own life, dealing with broken families or abusive parents. It meant that he could channel and redirect the waves of emotions that he was dealing with. Despite the relatively low profile of these films, they showed people in the industry that he had what it took to make it. But of course, industry professionals weren't paying enough attention to actually understand the person they were hiring. They only saw the first impression he gave as a thin, quiet Canadian kid. They noticed the results of his hard work, but couldn't see under the surface, so they typecasted him when he finally got his big shot. It was what he made of his first breakthrough role though that led him to further success.
What was it? It's not Matrix. What is it?
By securing the role of Ted in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Keanu was finally getting into the big leagues.
Never
and it
heard
had been
of
a
it.
massive task. Despite his years of experience and obvious potential, Keanu still had to go through audition after audition, most of which never got him anywhere. Even for the ones he got like Bill and Ted, it was a grueling process. The final stage of the audition reportedly lasted for 7 long hours. Production for the film was also slow. By the end of filming in 1987, the final cut was nearly 2.5 hours long, which had to be cut down significantly. Then the distributor went into bankruptcy just before the film was released, delaying it by another year.
Wow.
It was during this time that everything nearly came to a screeching halt just before it had truly started.
I'm so happy I didn't do this industry. Oh my god. I'm just getting anxiety thinking about like the job security of being an actor and being in Hollywood. Oh my, and imagine now. Oh jeez, man. All the Diddy parties and shit.
Keanu had just recently started riding a motorcycle, a hobby which he's still incredibly passionate about today.
I heard it's motorcycles.
Yeah, right. I have a motorcycle in Hollywood. I don't have a car, I ride a motorcycle, but I'm not really a speed demon or nothing like that.
No?
No. It's a 1974 850 Norton Commando. And, yeah, that's the gig.
But in 1988, a year before Bill and Ted would release, he had an almost fatal accident. Keanu crashed out going 50 miles per hour into a sharp turn, and for the next half an hour, he slowly watched his life fade away as other cars just drove past.
Bro, what the fuck?
Finally, an ambulance came, but it was almost too late. Keanu would end up losing his spleen in the resulting emergency surgery.
This one, I crashed in Topanga Canyon on a demon ride.
Los Angeles?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had...
You're on a motorcycle?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was on a motorcycle. I was in Topanga Canyon. I was going really fast, didn't know the road. And there was a hairpin turn. I hit the mountain. I had trauma, a couple of broken ribs, etc. And
Damn,
went to the hospital. And
I feel like everyone wants a bike at some point in their life, but then majority of us, we think about like, what happens when you get in a wreck? And, oh man, yeah, that just, it's like, all right, I'm good. I'll drive my car, drive my truck.
They took the blood out and then sewed up my spleen.
Sewed up your spleen?
Sewed up my spleen.
I thought he lost it.
See, now that's a mistake, because if your spleen is damaged, it should come out.
Considering
really? Okay.
he owns a whole motorcycle company today, it clearly didn't scare him away from them, but it would have definitely put Bill and Ted's success into perspective. The film took in more than 4 times its budget when it hit the box office, but the visibility and the recognition that Keanu got was far more important. The next decade would have made Keanu's career, cementing him as one of the top Hollywood A-listers.
You can never know what your life is going to be. And so, I don't know, again, I just kind of feel grateful to be here.
But at the same time, his personal life always kept his feet
Damn, this gives me the Brad Pitt vibes.
firmly planted on the ground. By 1991, his career was really taking off. The sequel to Bill and Ted had performed well, and this allowed him to land a role in Point Break. Starring as an undercover FBI agent, the action film demanded a lot more of Keanu than his previous roles had.
Oh, the first movie I've seen him was it called Chase or like Bus Chase? I think it was Chase. That shit went hard.
But it also showed how hard he was willing to work and adapt to whatever was demanded of him. Surfing played a massive role in the movie, but having grown up in Canada, he was a complete stranger to the waves. But with the help of an intensive professional course, he seemed like a natural on screen.
Was this something you did before?
No, it wasn't. I had to take it up, which was part of the reasons why I did it.
Was it difficult to do?
Yeah, surfing's very difficult.
Bro.
It involves a lot of elements, physical.
I'm not fucking learning how to surf in the ocean. I'm not doing that shit. They got simulators all over the country now. You can they got different type of simulators, but bro, I don't know. Props to everybody that does it. Y'all's cojones are motherfucking huge, bro. That's crazy. Trying to learn how to surf. It's like trying to learn how to swim with sharks. Like that is just wild to me. Like, let's get a surf simulator in the lake somewhere, but they got crocodiles there too. Shit, fuck. We need a goddamn rec pool, a wave pool. Goddamn it.
And when you get better at it,
I'll snowboard and skateboard all day though.
when the waves get big, you learn a lot more about your courage,
Oh,
and
I
also
bet.
what it's like to fall.
I boogie board back in the day, and them waves, bro. Them waves got so fucking high, and you're just right on the coast where they're crashing down. I can't even imagine a big wave like when you're surfing.
Because when you fall in the ocean in big waves, not big waves, but even like 3-foot wave, you can smack bottom and just swallow a lot of water.
Yep.
It also helped make sure audiences and
Bro, it's crazy too because you don't realize how much you roll underwater in a current, and when you like start rolling and you get smashed into the side of the beach, ooh, And I can't even imagine deeper in the ocean with like coral reefs and stuff. Oh my god.
Directors didn't see him as a one-note actor, gaining him access to more serious, prestigious roles in the future. 1991 was also around the same time that he struck up a friendship with River Phoenix, the older brother of Joaquin Phoenix. Coming from similar tough backgrounds and at similar points in their career, the pair were kindred spirits. They even starred in a few films together like My Own Private Idaho. Their friendship made their on-screen chemistry that much more real. In contrast to his success on-screen, Keanu never had an easy time of it in his own life. In a year with so many victories, it was overshadowed by a crushing blow. Keanu's younger sister was diagnosed with leukemia in 1991.
Damn.
While she would eventually beat it, the fight would take over 10 years. She would open up about it in an interview years later saying, quote, "Keanu helped me so much through my illness. When the pain got really bad, he would sit with me and hold my hand." It showed that even at his young age, Keanu knew what was truly valuable in life. It goes towards explaining his massive donations to cancer charities later in his life as well.
That's awesome.
Although it could have just been likely anyway that he would do something like this without the
Hey man, fuck cancer.
experience, as a massive chunk of his Matrix paycheck actually went to charity, for example. And while he was both dealing with this and trying to build his career, tragedy struck again in 1994, when River Phoenix would pass away from an overdose, being only 23 years old at the time. It was a loss that hurt Keanu to his core. He still rarely talks about it in interviews and never really goes into details. Once again, this had come at the same time as a high point in his career. His starring role in Speed really put him on the—
That's what it was called, Speed, bro. My mom loved this movie. My dad did too. We used to watch this shit all the time, bro. The scene where he's on his back on that little like those little I don't know even what do you call them, like a little board with wheels on it, fucking like a half scooter or whatever. I remember at the gym we always used to have them. Excuse me. And fucking dude, that scene's so badass.
Map, earning him tens of millions of dollars as well, but it must have been hard for him to enjoy at the same time. But then as the second half of the 90s came around, these years would be much less successful for Keanu.
Yeah, I mean, you hope that people like the work that you're a part of and that you do. For me, it's even tougher when you have and this hasn't happened a lot, but a couple of times where you have a great, a hope. You go into making a project and you're like, okay, and then it doesn't turn out as well as you hoped, and that's a disaster.
Bro, that job security is crazy, bro. Just the fact that your big project can just get canceled out of nowhere, that is wild to me.
He had a few good roles here and there, but he was often miscast, and nearly all of his films for the next few years were commercial flops. Despite this, he clearly wasn't put off by any of it. Faced with the same problems, other actors would have happily taken creatively bankrupt but well-paying roles. But when the opportunity to star in a sequel to Speed came up, Keanu refused. This had big implications for his career. 20th Century Fox blacklisted him for about a decade afterwards for denying them an opportunity to make easy money. But the project just didn't sit right with him, and that was all that mattered.
Yeah, like Speed 2. Did they make this movie? Because I think I remember watching it.
Fox had thought they could put the brakes in his career, they were wrong. The Matrix would be all the proof anyone needed that Keanu—
Bro, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. This shit goes so hard, man.
Was back. Tons of other A-listers like Brad Pitt and Will Smith turned down the role of Neo, seeing the film as all too experimental and ambitious.
Bro, Will Smith in that role would have been crazy. Because literally all his good movies are like aliens, comedies, and I don't know, that's about it.
But when it came out, it would be one of the biggest blockbusters in history. It wasn't just the money, it was the cultural impact of the movie. Now, we don't need to tell you how much people love that film, and Keanu's cool and calculated performance was one of the best parts of it. Of course though, as we should have come to expect by now, the highest highs were always
I think the best part of his performance in Matrix is actually him selling him just being this regular guy in the beginning. He nails that. And so when you have that transformation of that, the mood, the way he shows his character arc change, it's so dramatic because he sold it so well in the beginning. I think that goes underrated.
Accompanied by the lowest lows. Just 3 months after The Matrix came out, Keanu's girlfriend at the time lost their child 8 months into her pregnancy. It was an unspeakably heavy loss, creating an emotional scar that would never heal. Plenty of celebrities have had to deal with tragedies in their life, just like everyone else. Any gossip magazine will show you just how common they really are, but it will also show you how Hollywood—
I hate shopping at the grocery store because that shit's everywhere. Bro, it's so annoying.
Hollywood's culture of toxicity preys on these losses. Every death or divorce is just more fuel for the never-ending fire. But it's what people take away.
I'm not gonna lie though. That court case was fucking hilarious, bro.
Every death or divorce.
Oh my god. Oh my god, what's she doing in the bed again? What's she doing in the bed, bro?
It's just more fuel for the never-ending
Would she leave
fire.
a present?
But it's what people take away and learn from their trials that matters. It's how people deal with tragedy that defines who they really are as a person. It's so easy to get sucked up by them and grow bitter as a result. It takes a true artist and a great person to turn that suffering into something else and
I wonder what made him want to grow out the beard.
ignore the world
It really changes look.
trying to pull them down. Going by that logic, Keanu is the best role model in Hollywood. He's dealt with so much suffering in his life, but if anything, it's only made him kinder, more thoughtful, and more empathetic. After Hollywood had squeezed as many movies as it
Okay. Oh god, yeah. That's the downside of The Matrix.
could out of The Matrix, Keanu's
And there's a new one actually too. There's a new one.
career went into another quiet period. He was nearly always working, but other than a few major films, he mostly appeared in low to mid
The fuck is this?
budget comedies and dramas. It wasn't like he'd gotten any less popular though. People still loved seeing him in
that
films.
Jumper?
It was just that The Matrix and its sequels had set him up for life. He no longer had to prove anything to anyone, or even take any roles that just didn't interest him. When he did appear in an action film or a high budget movie during the mid to late 2000s, it often backfired as well.
The Day the Earth Stood Still. I think I've seen that movie, but I do not remember.
Even after a long career in the industry, most of Hollywood still didn't know how to cast him. For a decade, Keanu dipped in and out of the public consciousness. He didn't particularly want the spotlight.
Oh, that was a good movie.
He was just trying to make good movies. It was only when John Wick came out in 2014 that he got dragged back onto center stage. It was the perfect...
What the fuck? Who
When
rated
John
that
Wick
a
came out in 2014,
7.4? IMBD, you are tripping. What? Bro, what the
It got dragged back onto center stage. It was the perfect storm. Firstly, the film was perfectly
Bro, that should be at least an 8.8.
suited to him. It gave him back his signature look and kind of chilly, intense character that he excelled at. Then there were the film's strengths. There weren't any of those quick cuts directors used to make it so you can't tell what's going on. You could see the stunts and athleticism in long, uninterrupted shots.
They're like ballets. They're choreographed ballets.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it takes all of that kind of... I mean, I think they have things in common, right? So there's a vision for the fight.
Yeah.
And through that is also the story of the fight and the story of the characters in that. And I think that's what the director, Chad Stahelski, really brings to it, is that consideration that the fighting has to be part of the story for the characters and even for the kind of the creation of the world.
It threw away lots of the dumb tropes that play.
There's actually a lot of people that like action movies that do not like John Wick movies, which is crazy to me. But it is the style of choreography that they do, that it's so long-winded and they don't do a bunch of cuts. Later on with other movies, they did like kind of make it a little bit more fast-paced, but they always have those long fights. The last movie that came out, bro, the fucking staircase fight was awesome. And it was funny because my mom saw it. And she hated the movie. She's like, oh my god, they killed like 300 people. How many people got hurt filming this movie? It's
action movies for
hilarious.
Years. It was also much more realistic as well. It was still an action movie, but Keanu's character was clearly vulnerable and human.
Puppy.
The end product looked more like a Jackie Chan film than a Fast and Furious movie. Both the film itself and Keanu's performance were things people had clearly missed, and the sequels turned it into a major franchise. But while the John Wick films might have been the
I know they got spin-offs coming off. They got spin-offs, bro.
trigger for Keanu's resurgence in pop
It looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie.
culture, they weren't the real reason he stayed there. Instead, it was the internet that really made him as popular as he is today.
Phenomenon where people are taking a photo of you sitting on a bench eating a sandwich, looking a little bit sad, and it became like...
Bro, my man rocking the boots. Oh, mine are outside drying right now. They're soaked. I got the same ones, bro.
This
Hell
crazy
yeah.
thing.
Them bitches are comfy as fuck.
On the
You're never gonna roll your ankle on one of them.
internet. I mean, what do you think about that sort of media attention?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think of that as media attention. It was funny.
That so many people were worried about your welfare.
No, I think that's
Why are there so many cats on the table? I'm so confused.
lovely. But, no, I think it was people
Bro, these motherfuckers always they always want to make something furry, bro.
started to do funny things with that. Sad Keanu.
Before social media, YouTube and the rest, the only things people got to see of celebrities were their scripted appearances and interviews.
Yep.
You could get a basic idea about the person behind it.
And guess what? I didn't give a fuck about that shit. Hell no, I'd rather watch Nickelodeon. Nick at Night? Hell yeah.
You could never really know who they were outside of that. But the internet would change all of this because it gave a voice to everyone else.
Bro, why are you so small? PewDiePie, why you make this man a midget?
Outside of the industry. For a lot of celebrities, it pretty much ruined their careers.
This guy.
However well they played the nice guy in front of the cameras, the truth about how they acted the rest of the time eventually came out.
This bitch.
Celebrities like James Corden, who talked down to people for years without any real consequences, got out.
Bro, when he got caught up and he had that show where he would like drive around town with celebrities, then they would sing, and someone recorded that motherfucker getting towed and acting like he was driving. That was one of the greatest days on the internet. That shit was fucking awesome. Was it Justin Bieber? I think it might have been.
It also worked the other way. People could always tell Keanu was a nice guy. People who
they also tell that he's real, unlike that motherfucker.
Met him in person never had anything bad to say about him.
I mean, everything, all the good things you hear about Keanu, they're true.
They're actually
They're true.
Yeah. But he is so immediately, clearly humble, kind, gracious 100%. That it's just like, oh my gosh, Keanu.
Keanu Reeves must be one of the nicest, coolest people on the planet because no one has a bad word to say about that guy. Ever.
If Uncle Joe's saying it, gotta be real. That motherfucker keeps it $150.
He might be what we should all aspire to be. We should all aspire to be Keanu Reeves.
Of course, lots of people had already seen pictures of him just chilling with random strangers and homeless people. But the internet combined all of these stories and spread them around. All those acts of kindness over the decades had built up. And that's why today there's just so many examples that you can't even count them anymore. But on top of being...
Well, I mean, imagine that. I bet you that motorcycle accident fucked him up, bro. I bet you it did. It's literally like the Good Samaritan, bro. You're in an incident like that and you get no help from anybody and you're just watching cars drive by while you're dying, and you're like, please God, let one of these cars stop and call an ambulance and check on me, or get me into a car and drive me to a hospital. Please, where's my angel? Like, just one like, I guarantee you that situation like created the personality and the man he is today.
That Keanu was possibly one of the only celebrities who still seemed like a normal guy. When he got spotted riding the New York subway like
and I'm not saying he was like a piece of shit before that or anything like that. No, I'm just saying that incident probably always like reminds him back in his mind. He's like, you never know what people are going through.
When elsewhere, the story spread to the entire world. It was only strange to see because it contrasted so much with how the rest of Hollywood acts. Most celebrities would have been driven, trying to hide from the public. Keanu was different. Whenever anyone politely came up to him, he had time for them. Small things like helping the sound engineers carry the equipment got seen by millions of people. When Keanu's flight got cancelled one time, he went with the rest of the stranded passengers on a road trip instead.
You know what's crazy? There's another guy that's been mentioned, Tom Cruise. He does his stunts as well, and he's very famous for doing his stunts, but he's also famous for being a fucking asshole, a straight up dick. It is very interesting. They are almost polar opposites. It's crazy to think.
Talking to them all for the whole journey. Other celebrities wouldn't even go on a commercial plane. They wouldn't even think about it. And even if they did, they would have just chartered their own private jet over instead. In interviews as well, he always comes off as a humble and down-to-earth person. He's very rarely shared any details about his personal life, but the ones that did come through only confirmed the picture everyone else had had of him. And this pushed his career into the stratosphere, as people truly couldn't get enough of him. Keanu didn't seek the attention, but sometimes leaned into it. His starring role in the video game Cyberpunk 2077.
Bro, that sold me on the game. I didn't even know anything about the game. I was like, oh, they got Keanu in this bitch? Or Keanu. Sorry. Keanu. They got Keanu in this game? Oh my God, I gotta play it. And bro, I need to go back and play it because when I played it, that shit was a buggy mess. But I know everybody's been talking about how good it is since then. Oh man, when I go back and play that game, that's gonna be a good day. Good couple days.
Showed how much people loved him. The launch gave him yet another viral moment. And in the game itself,
I feel like this moment was better than when The Rock, like when The Rock announced Xbox with was Bill Gates. Way better. Way more iconic.
He's pretty much always there with the second most lines of dialogue in the entire game. It would have been easy to get sick of lots of the other actors, but it still wasn't enough Keanu for most people. It's highly doubtful people will ever get sick of hearing Keanu Reeves in cinemas. He's a breath of fresh air when you compare him to the rest of Hollywood. No other celebrity is so effortlessly humble and down to earth. It shows he's always known what truly matters in life. His career and the way he's carried himself shows us that it's possible to not lose yourself in fame and fortune.
Wow, that was a good video, man. That was a real good video. I like it a lot. Shout out to Moon. He always, bro, dude drops bangers, bro. bro, go give him a sub, go give him a like if you enjoyed this video. If you comment down below and tell him, you know, the Ether or Trey Swish sent you. Man, that was awesome. I didn't know a lot of that stuff. That's really cool, man. So yeah, that's the video for today. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. I hope you're having a good day when you're watching this, and if you're not, you know what? Hopefully you know, had a good time while we watched this video. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love, and watch out for people that might need a helping hand. You know, just, you know, do something extra today.